Hey there, Cowboys fans. Tom Downey here. There might not be a Cowboys game on Sunday, but there are some rumors and a couple news items that I want to get into as you guys sit around watching other NFL teams play today. First up on our rumors roundup, and there's a heavy injury focus on this video. Surprising, right? How about the rookies returning, namely Trevon Diggs and Tyler Biadasz? Can they return by the end of the year? I'm going to give this one 2 stars. I actually almost gave it 3 because I think there's a good chance one of them gets back, but the Cowboys might be super cautious. So we'll start with Trevon Diggs' side of it. Now, this is all per Jerry Jones, who said there's a chance those young guys get back on the field. He suffered a broken foot Week 9 against the Steelers. His original timeline put him back maybe around that Niners game. I don't think he's back in time for the Bengals, but the Niners game might make sense. That might be right around the center part of his potential return, but it all depends on how he's rehabbing and all of that. And there's a real chance that right around the time Diggs is set to return, the Cowboys might be out of the playoff race. Now, even though I am a founding member of Team Tank this year, I am down to bring back Trevon Diggs because he is young, he hasn't played a ton of corner in his NFL career, and provided he's not going to make that foot injury any worse or it's not going to lead to a different injury or whatever, I say bring him back because I want to get him out on the field more. He needs those reps. I think the same is true of center Tyler Biadasz. Hamstring injury, pregame warm-ups against the Pittsburgh Steelers. He is also eligible to return after the upcoming game against the Ravens. And again, I want to get him as many reps as possible. Now, although the raw statistics for Biadasz might not necessarily scream, oh yeah, he's a major upgrade over Joe Looney, they've actually played very similar stats, and all of these here are per Pro Football Focus, by the way. I do think it is telling that especially left guard Connor Williams has played a little bit better when Tyler Biadasz has been out there. I like Joe Looney, he's fine, but I think Tyler B is going to be a long-term part of this Cowboys team in terms of being the center of the future. So if you're trying to tank games, I understand why maybe you don't want to get your talented players back out there on the field, but provided there is no risk of injury, I say yes. But get your votes in here. What should the Cowboys do with Diggs and Tyler Biadasz? Type B for bring him back and play him down the stretch, or type in S for, it's not that important, just let them sit. I'm going to make this the pinned comment on today's video. So if you get that ad break here on YouTube, scroll on down and get your votes in. More injury talks here. Will Aldon Smith play against the Baltimore Ravens? I'm going to give this one 3 stars, and technically it's not an injury, it's an illness for Aldon Smith, who battled a non-COVID one this week. He did return to practice on Saturday. Now, we saw something very similar a couple weeks ago where Randy Gregory wasn't feeling that great, and then he was limited during the actual game. I wonder if you might see something similar for Aldon Smith where he plays, but the Cowboys give Dorrance Armstrong more snaps. Or maybe they activate Bradley and I. Wouldn't that be wonderful? I think he'll be out there. I do wonder if he's going to be quite 100% and a full go. Now, Aldon Smith this year, been a nice little surprise. Not paying him all that much money. Had the really hot start to the year. Since then, he has cooled off a little bit, but he's been very impactful, has had a lot of pressures. The pass rushing numbers are down for sacks because the corners aren't very good and they can't cover long enough. Crazy how that ends up working out. In the event that Aldon is limited or can't go, I think you'll still see more Dorrance Armstrong because reasons that I don't understand. Randy Gregory, of course, will play plenty, and as he should, he's been really good this season since he got back for the Cowboys. Maybe Bradley and I ends up being activated. That hasn't been their trend as of late, and even though I keep pushing for it, Free and I has not yet happened. Now, my assumption is that you see Lamar Jackson out there at quarterback for the Ravens. That's the expectation right now for Dallas as well, and really the entire NFL. So predict, how many sacks will the Cowboys put together this week? Now, while you're down there getting your votes in, do me a favor and make sure you have notifications set to all. That way you don't miss out on a single video here at Chat Sports. We have the numbers available to us. Not even 21.5% of you guys actually have all notifications set on it. YouTube defaults to personalized, which means you might miss out on some videos, or you might get the alert hours after the video actually goes down. So do me a favor, double check, and make sure your notifications are set to all. Let's talk secondary injuries right now. How about a return for Anthony Brown? I went back and forth on this, 2 stars or 3 stars. Had this been a normal Sunday game, I'm not sure he would have been out there, but he was limited to practice all week. I think that is a sign that Brown, coming back from that ribs injury, I should say, will be able to go. It's a Tuesday. The extra time between games very much helps Anthony Brown be able to play. Officially, he's listed as questionable this week against the Baltimore Ravens. I think he'll be able to be out there, and I think that even though we don't love Anthony Brown, probably better than some of the other options. Now, the injuries for both him and Chidobe Awuzie have kind of limited their full impact this year. You start the year, and then you get hurt, and then you come back, and you never quite get in the right flow. But your other options are, you can keep throwing out Rashard Robinson. C.J. Goodwin's a special team. Maybe they can promote Deontay Burton again from the practice squad. So I think getting Anthony Brown back out there would be a significant addition to this Cowboys team just because the other options are not very good. I don't think Anthony Brown is a true cornerback, too. That's why you want Diggs and probably a draft pick in this year's class. But I think getting Brown back out there would be a boost over what the Cowboys currently have. Now, today's show is made possible by our sportsbook partner, BetUS. We have a deal alert for you guys once again. We're still doing the Dak Prescott jersey deal. Here's how you can get one, okay? Head over to chatsports.com/bet. Utilize promo code Cowboys125. If you put down $100, that gets you the deposit bonus up, and you, of course, you put down more to get more money back with the deposit bonus. That's how math works. Then email us, cowboys@chatsports.com, and we'll get you guys hooked up with that Dak Prescott jersey you see on screen. This is only available to new BetUS customers, so if you did an earlier jersey giveaway, you're not eligible. If you want in on this deal, simply email us, cowboys@chatsports.com. Again, only available for new BetUS customers. Let's talk secondary again, this time the safety. Are there concerns around the safety position? I'm giving this one 4 stars, and this relates specifically to the Ravens game coming up. Yeah, we've had safety concerns for years here on the Cowboys Report. I am worried about the injury situation for this team right now. They could be thin at safety this week. Donovan Wilson, who's been a nice little surprise for this organization, is currently dealing with a groin injury. Now, when there's been a big play for the Cowboys in the secondary, be it a forced fumble or a fumble recovery or an interception or not interception, or a tackle for loss or a sack, it has often been Donovan Wilson, the guy who's been around the football making the plays. I want him out there. He's clearly better than Darian Thompson. But if his groin's not right, I think having him available for the last 4 weeks of the year in order to get him more playing time is more important than risking an injury. There is some concern there for Wilson, so you don't want to rush him out there or risk further injury. Now, if he's good to go, awesome, play him, because you also might be down backup Steven Parker. He's got a foot injury. Official designation is questionable. Those guys did not practice Saturday or Friday. That's a concern, even though it's a Tuesday game. And you're not going to practice on Monday. Might be a little bit dicey there. So those guys are questionable. If you don't have Wilson, if you don't have Parker, that means obviously Xavier Woods is one starter. Darian Thompson would have to start, and he's not good, and that's a disastrous idea. I feel like that's a major problem for the Ravens, even though they're not going to have Mark Andrews at tight end. Although if you're looking for a kernel of positivity here, maybe this means Reggie Robinson, the team's 4th-round pick out of Tulsa, originally a corner, moved to safety, might actually get on the field. I know that for the most part, we're actually all in agreement here. We want to see Reggie Robinson get out there on the field. In the event that Wilson is either limited or Parker's hurt, I think that frees up an active spot for Reggie Robinson. And that's what I want to see happen. I don't like injuries, don't get me wrong there, but at least it might allow Robinson to actually play. So get your votes in here. Do you want Robinson to play this week for the Cowboys against the Baltimore Ravens? Get your votes in here. Type Y for yes, or you can type in your N for no. I think for the most part, we're going to see a whole lot of yeses coming in the comments section. All right, some more injury notes I want to get into here. This is not a huge surprise. Zack Martin has been ruled out against the Ravens with a calf injury. That's not much of a surprise. I'm a little surprised they haven't put him on IR yet. Maybe they're holding out hope he can get back a little bit quicker than that. But as of right now, he is out for the Ravens game. This, of course, was originally called a multiple-week injury. The same is true with Cam Erving. He's not going to go, so that leaves the Cowboys out too. I'll put starters in quotes. Erving was supposed to be a backup option to begin the season, so that's maybe not as big of a loss. But he was supposed to be the swing tackle, got beat out by Terrence Steele, and then also got hurt, and that led to Brandon Knight being the team's left tackle. So here's where things stand right now on the offensive line. You're down to left tackle number 3 in Brandon Knight. Connor Williams is the only true starter out there because Tyler Biadasz had taken the starting job from Joe Looney. Connor McGovern, which I like getting him more playing time. I wish Zack Martin was healthy, of course. He's at right guard. And then Terrence Steele, once again, our tackle. I will make note, Steele was better last week. That helps the Cowboys ran a bunch of short, quick passes because they don't trust him. But I do worry a little bit about this Ravens pass rush getting after the Cowboys offensive line. So should Zack Martin play at all the rest of this season? Type P for play, R for rest. He's got the calf injury. It's supposed to be multiple week. If he goes on IR, he won't be eligible to return until the final 2 weeks of the year. I say rest him, sit him down for the rest of the season. But get your votes in here. He doesn't need reps. We know how great he is. Get your votes in. Type P for play or type in R for rest. All right, as these Week 13 games are currently ongoing, I guess depending on when you're watching this video, who should you be cheering for? I think the goal here for the Cowboys is either one-fold or two-fold, depending on what mindset you have. Number one, and we should all agree on this, we are cheering for bad football teams to win. We want those teams to win games. We want teams like the Bengals and the Jags to find ways to win that will hurt their draft stock in the long run. Where things get dicey is the NFC East matchup, which we'll get to here in just a second. So first up, who to cheer for? Lions-Bears. This one is a little tricky because both these teams are not great. We're going to go with the Lions, though, to get a W, kick them further up the draft order. Texans over the Colts, so actually the Dolphins don't have as high of a draft pick. You want the Jags to win. You want them to take down Minnesota. Give yourself a chance at the number 2 or the number 3 pick. You want the Falcons to find a way to beat the Saints. That would be awesome for your organization. You're cheering for the Bengals as well, by the way, this week. The Chargers, this one kind of matters, I think, more than most of them. If LA can beat the Patriots, that gives the Cowboys some added flexibility to win a game down the stretch, maybe against the Bengals, for example, and secure a top 5 pick. You want the Broncos to beat the Chiefs and the Niners to beat the Bills. Now, those things are not all that likely. They're not all going to happen, but getting 1 or 2 would be a nice little boost. Where things get tricky this week is the NFC East. Purely from a draft order perspective, you probably want the Eagles, Giants, and Washington to all win to force those teams further up the draft order, get them out of that top 5 range, maybe out of that top 10 range a little bit there. But that also, A, hurts your chances of winning the NFC East, which I'm more or less out on at this point. And you're cheering for the Eagles and Giants and Washington to win football games. That's weird. I get that. So, if you made it to the end of the video, thank you all very much. Let me know. Can you cheer for those NFC East teams to win this week? Get your votes in. 1 for yes, 2 for no. If you type in your 2 for no, I completely understand it. It's the antithesis of what we normally do here for the Cowboys. So get your votes in and let me know. 1 for yes, 2 for no.